We have on the line the applicant, Aaron Dagley, with her designer, consultant designer, Conrad Mullins. And we have on the line as well from our staff, Will Robinson Mushkett, our planner. So this is a public information meeting, and I'm Jim Windsor. I'm councillor for the district, and our process is that the councillor for the districts where development would occur hosts the public information meeting. So at this point in time, as we move down to our agenda, we'll explain the process that we're going to go through. But at this point in time, essentially, we've received an applicant and no decisions has been taken. In fact, there's been very little, if any, analysis. The first step is to hear from the public as part of that input. So this is a chance to hear the proposal, and because of the COVID, we are doing it through this medium, through the WebEx, and it will be put up on our site, and Will can explain that later, just because we can't meet in the public domain with significant groups, so we never know if there could be a significant number of people. So we are continuing with the WebEx approach. With that, I will turn it over to Will Robinson Mushkett, who will give his presentation on what the proposal is all about.
Thank you very much, Councillor Windsor. This is a public information meeting. It is for a planning application to enter into a development agreement for the property at Old Dyke Road in New Minas. The applicant is Insight Design Company. So just briefly, the purpose of the meeting. The purpose of a public information meeting is to inform the public of the application. It is to explain the planning policies that enable this application to occur, and it is to receive preliminary feedback. As Councillor Windsor noted, we are in the very preliminary stages of the planning application, and no opinions have been formed on this application. Briefly, what is a development agreement? A development agreement is a legal contract between council and a property owner. It restricts the developer to the use or types of uses permitted in the development agreement. It also allows council to exercise more specific control over not only the type of use or uses, but over the character, form, and maintenance of the development. And finally, it runs with the land. That is, the conditions do not cease if the land changes ownership. The proposal. This application is a proposal to permit, via the development agreement, a 33-unit residential building located on Old Dyke Road in New Minas. Proposals for high-density multi-unit development within the residential designation may only be considered by development agreement, and municipal planning strategy policies pertaining to the New Minas Wellfield Protection Overlay B require a development agreement for multi-unit residential use within the overlay. This is a map of the municipality of the County of Kings. See an orange circle on the screen there, and that's the approximate location of the subject property within the community of New Minas. This is an aerial photograph of the subject property, which is outlined in red. So you'll note that the subject property features frontage along Old Dyke Road, and it's quite close in proximity to the roundabout that intersects Commercial Street and also the Granite Connector leading up towards the 101. Commercial Street, for those who are familiar with New Minas, is quite a commercial node for the community and for the wider Kings County area, with a number of businesses located along Commercial Street as well. This is a closer photo of the subject property. The subject property is approximately 1.2 acres in size. It is currently the site of approximately 6 mobile homes and a single detached unit as well. The subject property backs onto, or excuse me, the commercial units along Commercial Street back onto the subject property. There's an Irving and Mary Brown's chicken on the opposite side of Old Dyke Road. This is a map of the future land use for the subject property and the surrounding area. So you'll note that the subject property is within the residential designation, enabling the high-density multi-unit to be considered by development agreement. The property is transitioning away from Commercial Street north with frontage along Cornwallis Avenue, are designated residential, while the properties with frontage along Commercial Street and the Granite Connector all fall within the commercial designation. This is a zoning map of the subject property. So you'll note that the subject property is zoned residential mixed density, and this is a zone that enables a variety of housing forms and density. And again, this corresponds to the residential designation that leads away from Commercial Street with frontage along Cornwallis Avenue, whereas the properties that abut the subject property and on the opposite side of Old Dyke Road are all fall within the general commercial zone, and this zone allows for a wide range of commercial uses with frontage along Commercial Street. There is a series of properties that are zoned C6, the Comprehensive Business Development District, with frontage along Commercial and Granite Connector, kind of kitty corner from the subject property. This is a zone that permits comprehensively planned commercial uses. So you'll, by a development agreement, you'll note that that's the properties that have a Lawton's and the Home Depot, again, leading from the roundabout Commercial Street up along Granite Connector to Highway 101. This is a photograph of the subject property, and this is looking northward on Old Dyke Road. So you'll note the subject property and some of the modular homes on the left-hand side of this this photograph. This is a photograph taken roughly in the same location, but in this case we're looking southward towards Commercial Street as well. You'll note the single detached house on the subject property. This photograph. This is a photograph taken from the subject property looking towards the opposite side of Old Dyke Road. Again, you'll note the Irving and the Mary Brown's chicken on the opposite side of Old Dyke Road. And further in the background of this photo, the Lawtons and the Home Depot on the opposite side of Commercial Street, Granite Connector. This is a photograph of the subject property. This is looking directly to the rear of the existing commercial properties along Commercial Streets. I believe there's a Sleep Country location, so there's a variety of commercial uses again permitted in the C1 zone along Commercial Street. This is a rendering submitted by the applicant of the 33-unit building, excuse me, as proposed. It's a 3-level building. It would contain a mixture of 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 2-bedroom plus den units. With approximately 42% lot coverage of the subject property and 48 parking spaces to serve the 33 units. With regard to the specific policies that enable council to consider this application, Municipal Planning Strategy Bylaw 105, Policy 3.1.10. Consider only by development agreement proposals for high-density residential development within the residential designation. Council shall be satisfied that the proposal has frontage along Collector Road. Access to the proposed development is not through any low-density neighborhoods. The design, scale, and location of the building is sensitive to the character and provides appropriate transition to the surrounding neighborhood, and that the proposal meets the general development criteria set out in Section 5.3. These are the criteria that all planning applications are evaluated against. Further, Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 2.6.13, consider only by development agreement the following uses within the Wellfield Protection Overlay B of the new Minas Wellfield Protection Overlay. Multi-unit residential uses, and when considering a DA to permit land uses, Council shall have regard to Policy 2.6.16, which is that it does not include any accessory uses that would otherwise be prohibited. Applicants shall submit a report that assesses the proposal, risk of the proposal on groundwater quality and quantity, recommend any measures to minimize or mitigate any potential negative impacts, and council shall be satisfied the proposal does not increase the potential for groundwater contamination. The applicant shall submit plans for storage, disposal, or handling of any potential pollutants when necessary and applicable. The applicant shall submit drainage studies and plans. Application would receive a favorable response from the municipal or village water authority, and the appropriate controls are placed on the development in order to minimize the risk of groundwater contamination. And again, that the application meets the general development criteria set out in MPS section 5.3. And those general development criteria are as follows: that the proposal is in keeping with the intent of the MPS, that it meets the goals and objectives of the municipal planning strategy, that the application is not in conflict with municipal or provincial programs, bylaws, or regulations, that there'd be no undue negative financial impact on the municipality, that the proposed use is compatible with surrounding land uses, that the proposed use is within close proximity and adequate supply of institutional and community facilities, that traffic considerations such as the existing road network, traffic generation, and congestion are addressed, that fire protection services and equipment are adequate for the proposed use, that there's adequate water and sewer services or on-site sewer servicing, that there be no undue potential for creating flooding or drainage issues as a result of the proposed use, that there would be no negative impacts on well fields or groundwater sources as a result of the proposed use, that there'd be no soil erosion or siltation of water courses as a result of the proposed use. When applicable, that there'd be no negative impacts on lake water quality and no negative impacts on farming operations, and that the site is suitable in terms of its physical characteristics, the grade, the topography, the soil, etc. With regard to the development agreement process, so this application has been deemed complete and received by the municipality. We're at the preliminary stage, the online public information meeting, and this online PIM will be available for viewing for 30 days on the municipality's website. Notice of the online public information meeting will be published in the newspaper, and properties within 500 feet will be notified of the planning application and public information meeting. Upon completion of the online PIM, staff will complete a review and will draft a report and development agreement. This will be reviewed by the Planning Advisory Committee, which will provide a review and recommendation, followed by initial consideration by council, following which would be a public hearing. Properties, again, within 500 feet will be notified via letter mail of the public hearing, and it will be advertised in the newspaper as well. Upon completion of the public hearing is final consideration by council, where a vote to approve or deny the development agreement would occur. And finally, there is a 14-day appeal period of council's decision as mandated by the Municipal Government Act. With that, I will open open the floor, I guess, for questions and comments over the next 30 days. Folks who wish to comment or have any questions concerning this application can contact me, Will Robinson Mushkat, planner, at the Municipality of the County of Kings via phone 902-690-6173, email wrobinson-mushkat@countyofkings.ca, or via our website as well, countyofkings.ca/planning. Thank you.